Okay, not dog training related, but other critter related. We have lots of critters and creatures and plants in our house. This is just a quick little tour of my bioactive terrarium that I built, and bioactive meaning that all the plants inside are real and alive, as ridiculous as they look. Those are all real plants. And then in there I also have a juvenile Goody Sapphire tarantula. Goody Sapphire tarantulas have medically significant venom, so I am not going to be like pulling plants out or sticking my hands deep in there. If you notice the way that I kind of will end up pointing things out, it will be very gingerly and always paying attention to where she is. She is back here, and I don't even know if on camera you're going to be able to see her from here, but she is up here on the lid hiding under plants and leaves. So from this angle I can barely see her, which means for the camera it'll be near impossible. Let's see. Yeah, you can't tell, but I will be keeping an eye on her because you don't stick your hands in a tarantula, this type of tarantula tank, without making sure that the tarantula is nowhere near you and is still. Thus far she has had no startle responses at all, which is the only reason I'm doing this way. So inside, if you look, there is this pitcher plant that's really, really cool. And it has some tiny pitchers on it, but then two pretty large ones, or at least decent size for this particular type of pitcher plant. Unfortunately, some of the isopods keep going in it, but the plant is absolutely loving that. It's got a new pitcher that will be starting right there. This is how they start, and then they swell up to these things, and then they eventually pop open. I have a lot of isopods in here because this is a bioactive tank, so they're part of the cleanup crew that you want to have to kind of keep the little mini tiny ecosystem, really, I guess community we would say, to keep that going. In the back there are a couple different things. You can see these pothos. My favorite are the ones that have these marbled leaves. Again, quick spider check. Yep, she's good. We have this, I think it's called a Chinese money plant. I don't know the scientific name, but we have that back there. We have a bunch of the wandering dude all throughout, which is the one that is this purple and silver and iridescent, which is one of the coolest plants. I just absolutely love them. And then in the front, because it actually gets decently dry up front here, we have a couple of succulents that I'm kind of messing around with to see if they'll survive. Most of the ones I had planted or just, stuck the cuttings in didn't survive because it's too moist in here being a jungle tank. But these two are actually quite happy, and I think it's because they're in the very front, which is where it's pretty dry. And then this moss that is on the ground, this carpet moss, is also real and growing, so I have to mist that daily, making sure that I am not misting the spider that is back here hiding. And then on this side, there's a hide that goes under the ground, and she's an arboreal tarantula, so she doesn't use it really that much, but when she needs to molt, she may go down there, and the isopods love it down there, as well as the crickets that are sometimes roaming around if she hasn't hunted them yet. And then on this side, there's a bunch more of the wandering dude in that beautiful color, and then a lot of other pothos as well that are, some of them are variegated, which I love. They have that marbling effect. There's a really big pothos leaf in the middle there, but I am not going to stick the camera in there because that's right under where the spider is. She is kind of in the dude that is up above. And then there's some really cool wood that the isopods love because they feed on all of the leftovers, but then if they don't have any random leftovers sitting around like the potato that's in there for the crickets, they will go for the wood as well. They're isopods, but one of their common names in addition to isopod is wood lice, and that's because they eat wood. Then I have this cool rock in here. I'm hoping to get more rocks in here as I start finding them. I want to start looking for them, identifying them, and then also putting them in here. And again, well, we have Corgi, which if you know corgis, they want to know what's going on, and they want to be paid for not interfering. Good boy. And then up here, again, let me see, right behind this leaf, that is where she is, and you can barely see any of her, but if I think of it, I'll release a video of her getting released into this terrarium so you can actually see what her body looks like. But she's in there. Thus far, she's loving it. She's a jungle tarantula, which is why I can get away with these plants. Most tarantulas, well, not most, but a lot of tarantulas do down. Hi, fella, you need to lie down. Okay. A lot of tarantulas live in really arid climates, deserts, and even arid climates that aren't super, super hot all the time. But these guys are jungle tarantulas, so that is why we have the high humidity and all the plants, and most of the space is vertical space because she just kind of climbs up and through. I've actually never seen her on the ground. We haven't had her that long, but I've never seen her on the ground. I'm sure at some point it happens because she has to drink, but we have a little camera on here, and pretty much every time the camera goes off, she's up in the vines, either sleeping or looking for crickets. Okay, so this is our first tour. I will keep them coming. This is the first spider that I have kept, and we're pretty excited about it. So I'll give some updates. She does not have a name yet. She will. Okay, bye.